Bank of America, offering access to resources and digital tools designed to help local to global companies make moves for their businesses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Mount Sinai Tisch Cancer Center. At the Multiple Myeloma Center of Excellence, experts create immunotherapies personalized to patients to attack cancer cells. More information at mountsinai.org/cancer.
WNYC's Fall Pledge Drive starts Monday, and we're kicking things off with a first day challenge to you, our listeners. If we can raise $250,000 by 7 p.m. Monday, we'll unlock an additional $50,000 contribution. The challenge clock is ticking, and we need a strong start now before the drive begins. You count on us, and we're counting on you. Go to WNYC.org to donate, and thanks.
It's 6:51. Marketplace Morning Report is next, and later on Morning Edition, advocates for people with severe mental illness say support is very hard to get, and those suffering are often left to deal with it on their own.
There's no one sort of consistently on that person's side, looking out for them.
More on that next hour. A cool 60 in the city and across the area, and cloudy showers and maybe a midday thunderstorm or two today, and a high of 62. More showers and possibly an overnight thunderstorm. Steady temperature at 62 again. Tomorrow morning, more showers likely, cloudy and 63 and gusty. And then on Sunday, we turned very fall-like, cool, sunny, and breezy, high in the mid-50s. I'm looking forward to it. 60 and cloudy now at 6:52.
Threading the needle between recession and growth.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. The country's interest rates can make the difference between a growing economy and an economy headed into recession. Raising interest rates is like an economic Arctic blast cooling the economy, but it also helps fight inflation. We are at the point where the decision on what the Federal Reserve should do next month with interest rates is kind of a day-by-day calculation. Fed Chair Jerome Powell spoke yesterday at an Economic Club of New York luncheon and gave some hints. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has that.
The Fed's playbook is raise interest rates to cool the economy and hopefully inflation. But some parts of the economy are still hot. Consumers spent more than expected last month, and companies are still hiring. So Powell says,
given the uncertainties and risks, and given how far we've come, the committee is proceeding carefully.
That is the Federal Open Market Committee, which sets interest rates. Powell is also keeping his eye on the yield or return on the 10-year Treasury bond. It's been going up, and it loosely tracks with rates for some loans, like mortgages. So New York Life Investments economist Lauren Goodwin says the bond market has been pushing up mortgage rates.
And so in a way, it acts just like the Fed's own interest rate policy, although, of course, the Fed doesn't control it directly.
Goodwin thinks all these things, the bond market, the uncertainty Powell mentioned, they'll convince the Fed to hold interest rates steady in November. But she says Powell kept the door open to a rate hike at the Fed's last meeting of the year in mid-December. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. The FTSE in London is down 0.8%. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures also down in the 2 to 0.4% range, with Dow future down 81 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.939%. Pharmacy chain CVS Health has said it is pulling certain oral cough and cold products with phenylephrine in them weeks after advisors to the Food and Drug Administration said that chemical does not work. CVS stock is down 0.2% in pre-market trading.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Charles Schwab. Schwab believes every investor deserves to work with a firm they can count on. That's why Schwab has financial consultants ready to serve their clients, plus professional answers and 24/7 live help. Learn more at schwab.com. And by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers what's next in cybersecurity innovation to protect today's digital way of life. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com.
Okay, time for some Econ Extra Credit. This is where once a month we watch a documentary with some business or economic theme. This month we are watching the documentary Telemarketers. It follows two friends, both former telemarketers, who are on a quest to expose their seedy former boss in the larger telemarketing industry. Telemarketing, of course, comes in many flavors, some more scammy than others. One niche scam specifically targets immigrants. My Marketplace colleague David Brancaccio spoke with Juan Manuel Pedroza, an assistant professor of sociology at the University of California, Santa Cruz, who has researched immigration scams.
I mean, a very diverse community when we say immigrants, many different languages spoken, people coming to this country with different levels of acquaintance with what the rules are in the United States and what the protections are. It adds complexity in this fight against these scammers.
That's right. And this is a diverse and growing immigrant community that we're talking about. 1 out of 5 people in the U.S. was not born in this country. About half of immigrants are currently not citizens. And let's be clear, these scams happen because people are looking for answers and help to adjust their legal status. So if you're looking for answers and help for those kinds of cases and someone scams you, it's immediately clear to the person you're reporting it to that you might be in a vulnerable, temporary, or irregular legal status living in this country. So the trust really does have to be there.
And are there efforts by watchdogs, government watchdogs, regulators, to get the word out?
Yes, there are. Immigration law is so complex that it seems like there's endless numbers of new innovative scams targeting people depending on what's happening on a given day. So you're talking about the American Bar Association, local nonprofits, the American Immigration Lawyers Association. All of these have awareness campaigns targeting fraud and scams. It's gotten to the point where the Federal Trade Commission at the federal level and Immigration and Customs Enforcement have put out information on government imposters, people who are pretending to be Border Patrol and calling people at their home. So in terms of getting the word out, I think we're in a much better place than we used to be in the past. And of course, you then have to back up the awareness with service delivery, translation services, and making sure that people understand that these are crimes and that you can get your documents back and get your money back. And most importantly, we can try to put a stop to the kinds of scams that could target even more people in the future.
Was there a specific catalyst for you? I mean, this is an interesting area of research for a sociologist. Did you see something in your life that opened your eyes to the dangers of this? Or was it sort of an accumulation of experience that led you in this direction?
Well, personally, for me and people in my family and people that I grew up with, many of us were on the outside looking in terms of our legal status. And back in the early 2000s, when there was a little bit of a hope of the passage of a DREAM Act or potentially broader pathways to legalization, we thought that there might be hope to establish the fact that we've been in the U.S. for a while, could prove that we've been living here, could prove that we've been contributing to society. So I got an ID at the Mexican consulate. And in that process, I ran into a couple of people who were trying to sell business cards and pens to those of us filling out applications. And in that moment, I realized, wait a minute, for all of the talk and the hope that there might be something opening up in the future, there are people waiting to help. And that's important. But there are also people waiting who look like they're trying to help, but they're really just trying to make a buck and could be running away with your money and running away with your immigration documents. And that's the kind of thing that I saw up close. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about how this could be affecting other people.
Juan Pedroza is an assistant professor of sociology at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And let's get the word out about these scams.
That was Marketplace's David Brancaccio there. Next week, we'll hear how communities are fighting back against these scammers. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.